another episode of Out and Up, where we encourage young athletes to achieve their very best outside the game. And like every show, we have an awesome guest. Y'all know how I do. I'm going to go ahead and let him introduce himself.
Hi, how's everybody doing? My name is Michael Holloway II. I go by MJ. I am a long and triple jumper at the University of Florida.
Thank you, Michael, for joining us today.
Appreciate you. Thank you for having me.
Are you ready to get into the questions?
Yes, sir. Let's get into it.
All right. We always start with this. Where are you originally from? Where are you born and raised?
So I was born and raised in Gainesville, Florida, and that's where I currently go to school at the University of Florida.
That's awesome. That's awesome. So when did you start in track and field?
So I started track and field when I was in middle school. So about my 6th, 7th grade is when I really started. I didn't really start taking it seriously until about my sophomore, junior year in high school.
All right. And throughout the years, what are the events that you've participated in?
So growing up in high school, I was a 400, 800 specialist. So, I did the 4x8s, the 400s. I ran the 200s, some 100s. I long jumped, ran some 300 hurdles. I was kind of one of those guys in high school that if you needed some points somewhere, my coach was going to put me in and we were going to figure it out. And now that I go to the University of Florida, when I first got here, I specialized in the long jump. And then this past year, I asked my coach to triple jump, and now I'm a long jumper and a triple jumper.
That's awesome. So in your youth, did you participate in any other sports?
I was a big basketball guy. I did football a little bit, but I was a little bit smaller on the smaller side. So I got hit a couple times in football. I said, basketball and track sound pretty good to me. So I ended up being basketball, and that was one of the things I was going to go to college for. I was going to play basketball, and then it was between basketball and track, and I decided I could go a little bit further in track.
All right. So what was your inspiration just in where you're at now in sports? What has been your biggest inspiration at participating in track and field?
I would say my dad and my cousin. My dad is the head coach at the University of Florida, and my cousin, Grant Holloway, is a world-class athlete. And so just seeing my cousin come in and just hit the ground running and seeing all the success my dad's had at winning. He just won his 12th national title this past year. So just being able to watch him is like, I want to go be a part of that program. I want to go win him a national championship.
That's awesome. So do you have any favorite athletes?
Definitely would say myself. I love myself. You got to have self-love in today's day and age. And, just Usain Bolt, the Carl Lewis's and the Christian Taylors, Will Clays, just all those guys, just watching them come through, even just on television or watching them come through the University of Florida, just inspire me every day.
Wow. And so to hear a young man like yourself mention the Carl Lewis's, it lets me know, same thing I do with a lot of our basketball and football players. It lets me know you're a student of the game. Do you spend a lot of times watching some of their training habits and things like that, to prepare yourself?
Oh, absolutely. I'm a big Christian Taylor and Will Clay. Now that I triple jump, I watch probably Christian Taylor and Will Clay's videos almost every day. And, my jump coach at the University of Florida, Nick Peterson, he's done a great job with all of his athletes. So I'll even go back and watch, Marquise Dindy's and, just anywhere. I'm a big guy that's like a film guy. So I pride myself on watching film and learning from the best. They've done it. They've been where I want to be. So why not watch how they do it?
All right. So outside of sports, do you participate in any other extracurricular activities?
So I am currently on the photography crew with the University of Florida. It's mainly sports photography. So like the other day, I got to take headshots for the football team, and I've taken baseball pictures and I've taken track pictures. Photography is my takeaway from being an athlete. And then I can go capture those moments of the other athletes on campus, because nowadays everybody wants their picture taken. Everybody's on social media, it's pictures. You post a picture and post and talk about yourself. So I love to be the person behind the camera and capture those moments.
All right. So outside of photography, I know that's something else you're looking into getting into even outside of the sport. What are some other things you may do in your spare time for fun?
I'm interested in coaching. Being my dad, being a coach, it's kind of fun. I like, watching young men and women and kids get better and want to come to their coach and want to get better every day. I could definitely see myself doing that in the future. So coaching is not off the table, but photography and even being an SID, being somebody who takes pictures, travels, gets to know the team, updates the team, and stuff like that. And stuff I find very interesting.
All right. So I didn't touch on it a lot. What high school again did you go to?
I went to Oak Hall School. It's a private school here in Gainesville. And I went to Oak Hall from freshman year to senior year. And I went to PK Young from kindergarten to 8th grade.
All right. And so what was it that inspired you or encouraged you to choose University of Florida as the university you went on to?
So I have a lot of background with the University of Florida, being in Gainesville, like that's the top school that, everybody going to Florida. My dad being the head track coach here made it a little bit influencing. My mom actually ran track here as well. And just both my parents went to Florida, and then my cousin got to Florida when I was in high school. So just continuing the kind of like the Holloway legacy at the University of Florida is kind of like my main goal. Keeps me going every day.
All right. What were some other school options that you actually had?
It was originally I was going to go play basketball at a little small school in Texas, Hardin-Simmons University. And I remember, they wanted to fly me out, have a little tryout before. And I was pretty set on going there even before. And then, my coach or dad walked in my room and was like, "Do you want to come jump at the University of Florida?" And immediately I was like, yes. Like that was something I dreamed about since I was little, just seeing all the guys come through the program to take me under their wing. So we canceled the trip to Texas, and we're here now at the University of Florida.
Wow. Do you miss basketball at all?
A little bit. I do miss basketball. So now that we're in summer, I try to take full advantage of going and playing basketball with my friends while I can, because track is a grueling, long season. So there's not very many opportunities for me to play basketball. So I try to take the most of my opportunities.
All right. So the young athlete watching, give them a little bit. I always like to ask this, especially with our college students, what are some things the young high school athlete need to look at when choosing a school to continue their career, from the academic or even athletic? And what are some things you advise them to really look into before choosing a school?
I would say make sure that you feel comfortable on the campus and with the academic side for sure, because I don't want to say anything bad about anybody, but sports doesn't last forever. So if you don't feel comfortable at that school and you don't be able to continue sports, you got to still be able to continue your education. And definitely make sure you're comfortable with the coaching staff and everybody like that in that terms of aspect, because the coaching staff at the University of Florida is like family to me. I feel like I can go to them about any problem, any situation, and we're going to figure out. And that's just not because my dad's the coach. I'm not just saying that. Even the jumps coach, the hurdles coach, the throws coach, I feel like I can go to them and we're all one big family. So make sure that you have that personal connection, and really make sure that coach wants your best interest at heart. I could tell from my first conversation with the jumps coach, he wanted my best interest at heart. He's not just looking at me as somebody who's going to come in and score points and then leave and never talk to again. I've seen his professional athletes still come by the track and have personal conversations. They're meeting their sons and daughters and stuff like that. Like that's the kind of connection you want to have with your coach. So just make sure that place is really the right fit for you, and you're not just going there just because of the name title. I feel like a lot of coaches, I want to go to Alabama, I want to go to these high-end schools, but those high-end schools might not be for you. So make sure it's the right fit for you before you go there.
All right. So this is a sidebar. I'm going to have a little fun for a quick second, because I'm born and raised in New Jersey. Been in went from South Carolina to North Carolina. I've been in North Carolina since 2008, but all of my life, I've been a college fan of a specific team. Now I know when it comes to football, it's a rival with Florida. But how do you feel from a track standpoint when you see somebody put this up?
Always, FSU is like our biggest rival. So, and definitely in football, but, in track and field and baseball and stuff like that. It's like you want to get that competitive edge over at FSU. I'm repping my Gator shirt, so but no disrespect to FSU, they have a great program. But we want to go out there and prove that we one of the best schools in Florida, and we want to prove that every time we step on the track.
Cool. And it's all love. Like I said, I just enjoy the sport. I have buddies and people I know that are big Gator fans. So it's all love. But when I was able to get you, when you responded, it was definitely appreciated you responding and being willing to really be an example and be on the show. when I saw that you were a Gator, I said, man, I got to mess with him for a quick second.
It definitely caught me off guard. I was like, where's the story going? But, that was a joke. You caught me off guard. That was good.
What's one of your biggest, like from high school to college, like what have been one of your most memorable moments or accomplishments in the sport thus far?
Oh, wow. I would say, even just this past year, I wasn't the most highly recruited guy coming out of high school. I wasn't the top guy that's gonna, come in and instantly score points. My freshman, sophomore year, I made it to the SEC team, and that was about it. And this past year, I asked my coach to triple jump. I've never triple jumped before in my entire life. And being to go to both SEC meets and make it to the regional meet might be the biggest accomplishment I've had so far. And being a part of a team that ended up winning a national championship this year, it's just surreal. I've seen my dad win 11 national championships prior to ours. So just seeing that go into motion might be the highlight of my career, just being able to make an impact as a team leader on and off the track might be the highlight of my career.
That's awesome. That's awesome. So we'll touch on it. You've mentioned it a few times, and I didn't want to make this whole interview about it, but what is it like being on the track and field team where your father is the head coach? Like, what does that add any pressure? Or just tell me what that experience has been like. And then a father that is doing it at such a high level. You just named it, 11 national championships. Like, what has that experience been like running, for your father?
It's been a blessing, and it's been absolutely fun. My dad's been coaching me since I was in middle school, so it's not nothing new. And, you get those people, though, he probably texted me, he's on you. Absolutely not. I get it sometimes more than some other people. So he makes sure that I'm top of my game, and he trusted me to be the team leader this year, and I definitely didn't want to disappoint him. So just being on his side of the track and field world has definitely been something I've been dreaming about since I was little. And it's fun, you get to, and we like to mess around with each other, at practice, I might say coach, and then, we get home and it's dad and stuff like that. So we have that little running joke going. So it just comes, we try to keep it professional, but we both know at the end of the day, we have one goal, and that's to be the best Holloways that we could be.
That's good. That's good. So I think it's awesome. You touched on it earlier, just your love for photography and things you're doing from that end. But one of the things caught my eye, and like I said, I never like to intimidate guests as I reach out to them, because I've been blessed to have some awesome guests that are not only doing it on the field, but they're doing it in life. And some are doing an awesome job in the classroom. But I know that one of the things stuck out to me as I was searching the web and I saw you that you've already been in your first couple years an academic All-American. So just tell me about your focus when it comes to the classroom, even outside of the sport.
100%. I go to a UF as a top 5 institution. So, definitely the end goal is to get my degree. Yes, I want to continue sports and be a professional athlete, but I promised my mom I would get my degree, and that's what I'm going to do. So, and, my mom, how moms are, are you getting your homework done? Are you getting your schoolwork done? But not even just my mom, my coaches, we have a great academic staff and academic advisors at the University of Florida, and they make sure that you're getting your grades done. I tell all the recruits and all the people coming in, you have to try to fail at the University of Florida. There are way too many people that are here to help you, way too many resources and stuff like that. Like, coaches get a grade report every other week. That you're getting mandatory study hours if you're not doing your work. So I'm just going to make everybody else's job easy and just make sure I get my job done in the classroom.
Wow. So for the young athlete watching, I like to always ask, like, were there any obstacles in transition from high school to college? It's like, what are some of the things the young athlete, no matter what division they're playing, what are some of the things they need to be prepared for when it comes to that the transition? And I'm talking about academically as well as athletically. What are some of the differences that you remember or you noticed?
I remember my biggest transition was time management. Just going from being able to, at high school, you're going in, you go have lunch, and it's at a specific time every day. And kind of in high school, everything's planned out for you. When you get to college, you have, you have your meetings and you have your places to be for practice and stuff, but they don't tell you when to eat. They don't tell you when to sleep. That's all on you and time management and getting your homework done. So I would say just manage your time wisely. And also, I would also say that on the flip side of that is don't go too crazy in terms of I have to get everything done pinpoint. Like have some fun. College is 4 or 5 years maybe. You don't want to look back on it and be like, damn, like I wish I would have went out and hang out with my friends. Like a lot of my memories in college has been just spontaneous. My roommate walks in my room, says we're going here, and we go. And that's another reason you guys stay on top of your schoolwork, because college is a spontaneous. You just do things on the fly. And so if you're kind of just slacking on your schoolwork and somebody comes in on the fly, you're going to run into problems later on.
All right. Do you have any goals that you set when it comes to academics?
I try to make the AV honor roll every semester, every year, and just make, because now they give you a plaque now for when you make a AV honor roll and stuff like that. So the seeing the smile on my mom's face when I walked in the house with the AV honor roll, that's what it's all about. It's the education. That's what like we talked about at the beginning. Sports isn't going to last forever. You still need to be able to have an education, and I'm proud to say that I got made the AV honor roll at a top 5 institution in the University of Florida.
That's great. That's great. So what are some of your immediate goals when it comes to the sport at the University of Florida?
Immediate goals is I want to make an impact, and I don't want to make an impact just on the track, but off the track. And I want to come in and be that guy that, the coaches can be like, look, like, hey, like this guy's feeling that. I need you to go talk to him. We need him and stuff like that. Like I want to come in and be one of the top long jumpers and triple jumpers that have walked through this program. You see a lot of great athletes like Christian Taylor goes on and wins gold medals. Will Clay goes on and wins medals and stuff like that. So I want to be like the next great jumper to come through the University of Florida, but also be the next great person that comes to the University of Florida, because that's what leaves a mark on people is, okay, was he a great athlete? Or is he a great person? And I got that from my cousin. My cousin might be one of the greatest hurdlers to ever step foot on a track. And he is one of the nicest guys you will ever meet in your entire life. Like he just is so humble and so nice and will go out of his way for anybody that he loves and cares about. Like he installed that in me, because, you see a lot of guys, they can be jerks and you're the top of the line and they're, cocky, walking around like, you would never hear that from him. He's going to go out, execute, and do his job every time. And then he'll come back, have the biggest smile on his face just from just seeing the little people that come and support him.
That's awesome. And I think that's very big. Just, oh man, you just hit everything that's in my heart. Just really trying to push that through the show. And just even when I get the chances to go out and speak or even mentor, just really pushing out our young athletes to know that these opportunities are not just about them. Like this is a platform that you're blessed with to impact other people's lives. And so you just touched on it. Like if I'm a jerk, like who's going to come to me? Or if I'm a jerk, how am I going to speak to the other young athletes coming along? Like you have to position yourself to understand that this is a platform that you can have today and it can be gone tomorrow.
It can be gone tomorrow. Yeah, exactly.
So you have to appreciate it. You have to steward it well and understand it's an opportunity that you're able to sow or pour into other young athletes that are coming up behind you. So I appreciate you for just touching on that. And I just want to ask, as we kind of wrap up the whole goal thing, like what are your long-term goals when it comes to professional? Like what are some goals you set for yourself?
Personally, I want to try to make the Olympic team and be able to say that I was an Olympian. That's something that I want to be able to tell my kids, like, yeah, your dad was an Olympian, and tell my mom, like, mom, you raised an Olympian. Like, we are Olympians and stuff like that. And same with my father. And I want to, be able to say that I inspired somebody to go out and try track and field. I want to be able to say that I'm the reason that people, didn't give up on their dreams and their goals. A long-term goal of mine is to get a medal, whether that's a medal at the Olympics, whether at Worlds, just some type of hardware at that elite level to solidify, like, all right, I made it to the elites and I walked out of here with a medal or a trophy.
All right. What are some things from the sports standpoint that you do to really grow in the different areas that you participate in? Like, what are some things that you do in your spare time to really grow and get better?
Definitely, I would say I have to stretch and eating healthier and drinking a lot of water. Everybody goes to practice at the same time as me. And what am I going to do outside of that makes me stand out and makes me be better? So just in terms of eating right, sleeping right, and doing all the things to take care of my body, which allow me to go out and perform, those are the type of things that are going to help me stand out and get to my goals.
Okay. And so from the academic end, what are some things that help really keep you on top of your grades? What are some little things that you use to stay on top of everything?
Quizlet's my best friend. Quizlet, at the University of Florida, they give us tutors Shout out to my tutor, Mr. Shansay. He's been a tutor of mine for since I got to the University of Florida. So he's helped me and be able to just call him and be like, hey, like I'm really struggling with this. Like, could you help me out? And he's, all hands in from square one. That definitely helps. That's why I love the University of Florida. There's not one person on this campus that doesn't want to see you succeed. Everybody wants to see you succeed. And yes, they might want to see you succeed in the classroom. They also want to see you succeed on the track. Like my tutor, I'll see him at the session, like, hey, how'd your track meet go? And then, after we get done with that, he's like, all right, how did your paper go in the classroom? He's worried about both sides. Just having people like that motivates me to get my grades done because, somebody's excited to see me doing well. And, that's something I needed.
All right. Many young athletes, whether in high school or even you being able to go to an awesome university and University of Florida, sometimes they just kind of lose focus at some point. Like throughout the years, from high school to even college, what is it that kind of helps you to stay disciplined and grounded? Especially going to a big university, you talked about it. Some people can become arrogant after a while, and oh, hey, I go to a big university. So they kind of lose focus. Like, what is it that keeps you disciplined and focused?
I would just say, stepping foot on campus, square one. Nobody cares what you did in high school. You could be a high school All-American. You could be this, you could be that, but no one really cares. You all have to step on the track and do it all over again at a different level. And I think what keeps me grounded is knowing that I wasn't the most talented guy coming out of high school. I wasn't the talented person that all the schools wanted. So what keeps me grounded every day is like me personally. So the team just won a championship. And I wasn't there. I made it to the first round, but not the second round. And what keeps me grounded every day is I want to be there. I want to say I put points on the board for my team to help us win. I don't want to just watch it on TV and I made it to the first part. So yes, technically I'm a national champion, but I want to go put points on the board for my team. And that's what keeps me going every day is how bad do I want it? How bad do I want to be the best is what keeps me going.
That's good. That's good. And I just, again, you just touched on a point that I love talking about. I actually do something. I mean, those that watch know I do something called Monday Morning Thoughts. And so one of my Monday morning thoughts just kind of touched on, I used Ja Morant, the basketball player, as the example. And,
right.
And the kind of title of it was, their star does not determine your shine, because Ja Morant in high school was not listed on the list of star players. He ended up at Marquette, and now he's been an all-star, most improved player. I mean, you name it. He's defied what you would have thought he would have accomplished from, how well he was known in high school. And so even you said you wasn't the top recruit, but here you are at the University of Florida doing well and constantly growing. And so that shows your determination to not let those who opinions are out there, you didn't let that determine how well you would do on the next level. And so keep up the awesome work, Mr. Holloway.
Thank you.
I thank you for being with us and being an example. And we're kind of down towards the last couple questions. How important is it to have positive people in your circle?
Oh, that is the most important thing. I would say, like I said earlier, I wasn't the most top recruited guy coming out of high school. So it was hard for me when I first got here. And, and I came from a high school where I was the top guy. So even though I wasn't highly recruited at the world level, I was still the top guy in my high school. So when I got here and, I'm not that top dog anymore, I'm not that team leader, that kind of hits your ego a little bit. So having positive people like my best friends in my life, and they helped me keep going. And they're the reason that I'm still doing track and field today. Because there was times where I was like, should I have gone and played basketball? Should I have really came here to do track at such a big time university? But they told me I was here for a reason. It's time to show everybody why I'm here.
Okay, so we're gonna wrap it up. I have one more question I always ask, but we're gonna get into a little entertainment real quick. Who's your favorite artist?
Oh, favorite artist? I would say I have to listen to NBA YoungBoy. He gets me turned up for my track meets and stuff. And whenever it's meet day, whenever it's a good day at practice, it's straight YoungBoy all day.
Okay, so I know that's new school, but I'm gonna ask you overall, new school music, old school music.
I'm an old school guy. I mean, my dad grew up. I mean, I'm in the car. My dad's playing Biggie, Tupac. We're listening to that on the way home. He still plays in the car nowadays. So, I mean, I'm a big Biggie, big Tupac type of guy. Fantasia, all those people. So I'm an old head. I like my new school, but at the end of the day, I'm picking old school over new school.
All right, movies. What kind of movies do you like? What is it? Action? What's your favorite type of movies to watch?
I would say I like action and kind of like true story sports movies, like like The Blind Side, like movies that hit home with you, like Drumline,
Okay.
Stomp the Yard. Stomp the Yard might be my favorite movie. Just
Okay.
the scenes at the end when they the dance battles and Drumline when Nick Cannon playing the drums on other people's drum sets. That's just the little old school movies. Like that's what I love. I was watching.
All right. So, Mr. Holloway yourself, we touched on a little bit of entertainment. Dude. What if you had to do one of them today? What would you be better at, dancing or rapping?
Ooh, I would say dancing. I'm just a fun personality type of guy. Music comes on, I'm gonna start getting to dancing. My rhymes are okay. They need a little bit of working on, but I definitely if I had to pick one, dancing got to be my go-to.
That's cool, man. I appreciate you being with us. And again, last couple, I will ask for the young athlete that may be watching, like what is some advice you would give them for really preparing to continue their careers outside of this, outside of high school and really preparing to play at the next level in any sport? Like, what is some advice you would give them?
I would just say just keep focused on your dreams and your goals. I feel like in high school, oh, were you at the party last night? Oh, were you at, the function last night? And, it's cool to go have fun and go have fun with your friends, but what is your end goal? That was some sacrifices I had to make. A lot of my friends were going out and doing, having fun. Having fun, there's nothing wrong with that, but, I'd rather be in the gym playing basketball, working on my craft. I'd rather be at track practice. I'm not going to skip track practice just because y'all are going out to have lunch. So I know some athletes personally back in high school that, they kind of fell off a little bit because they got so caught up in the outside world. And, now those other guys are working at McDonald's and, we're athletes and they're watching us on TV. So no diss to anybody, but, you got to stay focused on your goals and your dreams. And if you want to be serious in D1 sports, D2, D3 is no joke. And I feel like everybody's like, oh, D1 is the top crop. And then, D2, D3 is kind of whatever. That is not true. There are some very good D2, D3 athletes that are out there. And, it's still college sports. They don't care if you're D1, they don't care if you're D2, D3. There's some D3 athletes that are running faster than some D1 athletes. So, doesn't matter what division you are. This is a different level of competition in college.
All right. For the track and fielders that's watching, what are some quick keys for them to take care of their body for the long haul?
Stretch, eat well, and drink water. That's my biggest keys right now. Staying hydrated, especially, I live in the University of Florida's campus area, which is based in Gainesville. And, Gainesville gets pretty hot. I was looking at the radar earlier and it's about to be like 95 degrees today. So going out to track practice and you're not hydrated, you're not gonna be able to perform. And stretching is key. We don't need injuries just because you didn't stretch at the beginning. So, and you can stretch better when you're hydrated. So, and just putting fuel back in your body. Like if you have a great workout or you had a great week of workouts and you're going and, you're eating pizza, eating a bunch of fried food and stuff like that, you're not going to get the best performances, having a home cooked tacos and stuff like that, that'll help in the long haul. It will.
All right. So that's, man, the end of another show. And I didn't say it at the beginning for those watching this episode, but this is the end of another season. I've been blessed to have some awesome guests again this season. Ending the season, I know for those that know me will say, wow, you're a Seminole fan and you ended the season with a Gator. But that it's all
Go
love.
Gators.
So after this season, I always give love to my guests. I've been blessed to have a young lady run track and field for USC, a young lady going to Baylor to play basketball. And for now on, these young people being willing to give up their time to be an inspiration to other young athletes, I will be following them. And so I'm not so sold out to one team. You'll now see me. I may throw the Seminole hat on, but instead of doing this, you'll see me doing this. I'll be
Yeah,
a
go
Gator now,
Gators.
all
Yes,
right?
sir.
So it's always going to be love. I appreciate Mr. Holloway joining us. And so, Mr. Holloway, my last question, who or what is it that inspires you in life?
I would have to say that's my dad, 100%. Seeing him get up every day and go to the track at early in the morning and get back late at night and do it every day, like that's what inspires me. He didn't grow up in the best area growing up, and he had siblings, and he was in the not nicer area of town, and seeing that how he's just worked every day to make sure that me and my sister and our family are taken care of. And it just inspires me every day. I want to be able to give back to him one day for all the sacrifices that he's made for me in my life, and just saying stuff like what he does to try to be at all my events, knowing he's one of the busiest people I've ever met, really means the most to me. I mean, he wasn't able to make my graduation because they were at a track meet, but you could see in his face like he really wanted to be there and was figuring out every way that he could have made it. And that just means the most to me, being at my track senior night, being at my basketball senior night. Like, he has practice, he has things that he has going on, but knowing that he's an important father figure and he's very busy to me means the world to me.
Well, man, I thank you, Mr. Michael Holloway, MJ, that is.
Yes, sir.
I thank you for being with us. I thank you for just the information you've given today. I know it's going to be an encouragement, inspiration. You're definitely an example to the young athletes coming up. So keep up the great work, and thank you for joining us.
Thank you. I just want to, give a shout out to Alan Nutt for inviting me. I'm very blessed to be here today, and just, kind of end it with a little Go Gators since we're showing the Seminole hat. So
I'm with you.
So Go Gators. Yes, sir.
Cool, man. Thanks again for being with us. I thank all that have followed us again this season. Again, get prepared for next season. I've already conversated and already have my guests ready for season 3. But our goal is just to really encourage our athletes to prepare for life outside of the sport. I said it in one of my early Monday morning thoughts that when the sport drops you off, will you land on your feet? And so my goal is just to encourage our young athletes to watch our guests, hear some of their stories. We've had the guests this year that were on the brink of going big, ended up in prison. We've had the guests that have done an awesome job throughout college. We've had the guests that have experienced injuries and different other things, and even going on from playing professionally and running professionally to ending up homeless. So many guests have had different experiences and adversities to show you that you really have to be prepared for life outside of the sport. I don't want any of our young athletes to be left hanging. So that's the goal of the show. I thank you all who have followed us for these first 2 seasons. Be prepared for so much more as we continue on. Again, thank you, Mr. Holloway, for joining us. And I wish you the best in your career as you go forward. Looking forward to seeing you on the track as the years come along, man.
Thank you. I really appreciate that. I just want to say thank you again for having me. It's truly a blessing to be here today.
Our goal is to encourage you to achieve your very best outside of the game. Thanks again for joining us. Now let's go out and up.
Let's do it.